Hello and welcome to my little bookish corner of the internet. My name's Harriet. Today I want to talk through some second-hand books that I picked up when we went to Newark. I'd never been to Newark before and it was a really nice place to go. And there's actually so many second-hand bookshops there, it's ridiculous, so many charity shops. So I had a great time walking around there and I'm excited to show you the books that I got. So the first book that I picked up, I actually got for 49p, which is really cheap, I couldn't believe it. It is American Psycho by Bret Easton Ellis. I actually had an edition of this and I gave it away because I read it at a time when I wasn't really reading books and I found it really hard to get into, but I figured I would pick this up since it was so cheap. It just really interests me. I have seen the film and I find it fascinating. It's one of my favourite films. I think it's just expertly done, but I do want to read the book that inspired that film. I think it's going to have a really dark and really deep psychological message in there. Really excited to read this one, and I think it'll be good to read in the winter time because it is so dark, but I do know that it is quite graphic, so I do need to kind of brace myself for that, make sure I'm in the right mood to read it. I actually quite like this front cover. Callum said that he absolutely hates it, but I'm going to guess that it's supposed to be kind of like blood in water or something like that. I think it's quite nice. It's not the nicest edition I've ever seen, but for 49p I'm not going to complain. And then we go for something completely different, which is The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. I've never read this classic before, but I have seen the film and I loved it as a kid. And this edition just feels gorgeous. It's got loads of illustrations throughout it, all in black and white. And I just think it looks really nice. And I've heard some good things about the story as well. This one, again, was an absolute steal from Oxfam. So this was £1.99. And I just have a feeling that I'm going to really enjoy it and get on well with it. I do like children's classics at the moment. I just find them very easy to read and they're always very wholesome. So excited to give this one a go. And then another children's classic is Toad Triumphant by William Hallward. So this isn't the author of The Wind in the Willows, but I believe he wrote the second book, which was The Willows in Winter. And this is the third one. I asked the bookseller, do you think I would be able to read this and understand what was going on? He was like, I'm sure you'll be able to. If not, I'm going to have to pick up The Willows in Winter, which I would like to buy anyway. But this is a gorgeous hardback edition. This was only £1.99. Again, just so cheap. And we are following the antics of the little creatures that live in this remarkably beautiful setting. And again, there's illustrations throughout it. The pages feel gorgeous. It's such a lovely book. And I'm really looking forward to reading this. I adored The Wind in the Willows. I thought it was a brilliantly written book and so beautiful. So excited to try this one. As I say, if I do need to pick up The Willows of Winter, I will read that first. I have a feeling I'm going to purchase it anyway, but just such a gorgeous book. We then have a non-fiction novel, which is The Last Night of a Small Town, Titanic by John Welshman. This is a non-fiction book about the events that happened on the Titanic. I am really interested in things about ships at the moment. I'm currently reading Erebus, The Story of a Ship, which is about the ship that went to the Northwest Passage and got completely lost. And then I found this in the charity shop and thought, yeah, I'll pick that up. It looks very interesting. This one was the most expensive of all the books that I purchased, so it was £4. And as I say, it's just a non-fiction about the Titanic. I would like to learn more about the ship and what happened on there. I find it incredibly sad, but also incredibly interesting. So I'm glad that I found this one. I find it hard to find books about the Titanic that aren't really short. This one looks like a pretty substantial one, so hopefully it will be a good one. And then I bought 3 more books. They're all by the same author. This one doesn't have a dust jacket. So this is Rising Sun by Michael Crichton. No one told me that that is how you say his name. I've been calling him Crichton ever since I read Jurassic Park, which was a solid 4 or 5 months ago. I don't actually know what this one is about. I believe that it is based in Japan, but I might be wrong. Not 100% certain, but I figured I'd pick it up because it was there and I really enjoyed Jurassic Park, so I do want to try more by this author. They also had Prey by the same author in that store. This sounds very interesting. It's about nanotechnology and how it starts to take over the world and creates this disease with humans. It sounds incredibly interesting, but also maybe like it's going to be a thriller, which I don't read a lot of thrillers, I don't read a lot of horrors, so maybe this can be something that I read in the Halloween season. This one was only £2.50 and I'm excited to start that. I think of all of them, this one sounds the most interesting to me. I don't know what this stain is up here, we're not going to question it. But yeah, it just sounds like something I'd never heard of before. So I picked that one up, and then lastly I picked up Airframe. This makes me really uncomfortable, I can hardly read it, it makes my eyes feel funny. But this is about an airplane that all of the passengers ended up either injured or dead and they don't know what happened. this sounds so interesting. I'm really, really excited to read this one. But yeah, this one I do think will be really good for the autumn season as well. Again, as maybe a Halloweeny spooky read, because I don't read a lot of scary stories, but this one's probably going to be a tiny bit terrifying, just imagining what has happened to all of these passengers on this plane. So very lucky to have found this, and I definitely want to read more by this author, so very excited. So yeah, I might have gone a little bit overboard possibly with the amount of books that I purchased, but I'm really happy with the ones that I did pick up. Please do let me know if you read any down below. But that is everything for me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!